is just fantastic. Captain's log, subject 211204.5. With the Moistmas season in full swing, I've set up a secret Santa. What the crew doesn't know is that I've taken a page out of Dr. House's book and given everyone a ticket with my name on it. And a minimum spend limit is 100 bars of gold-pressed platinum. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Mukbangers Wives, although you may have noticed from the title it's Mukbangers Ex-Wives, and I'm going to explain why. I was meant to do a follow-up on Peetz and Becky during Moistmas last year, but I completely forgot about Becky last year and wish I had done it now in retrospect. With Peetz, there was an allegation I saw in a community tab post, which obviously being Foodie Beauties got deleted. That comment had me take a bit of a moment, step back and go, you know what, I'm going to wait and see what happens as it unfolds, but as nothing came of it, well now we're doing it. So as you will undoubtedly know from the thumbnail and the title, we're going to be covering two people in this one video, to follow up from the all-in pantomime of last year, that being Amberlynn Reid's now ex, Becky, and Chantel, aka Foodie Beauty, aka Big Beautiful Me's ex, and lifelong symbiote friend, person, guy, dependent, codependent, reciprocated dependent, Peetz.
That's just skid marks.
So who are Becky and Peetz? Becky dated Amberlynn Reid, one of the internet's favourite GORLZ, for many years, having hooked up with her shortly after her breakup from Destiny, her being Amberlynn Reid, and it was quite interesting because they started dating because Becky believed that Amberlynn Reid was a risk to herself. They lived together for many years and were dependent on, while the other was also dependent on, and lived to serve Amberlynn Reid. Their relationship was very interesting to watch, certainly through Amberlynn Reid's mukbangs and vlogs, whether that be for months when she was at the height of her fame, like Vlogmas, guaranteed millions of views overall anyway, watching an incredibly awkward tomboyish girl with an incredibly large girl, with many people wondering, was it just the food that Becky was getting Amber? I believe the joke was made in the breakup video, and summary streams shortly after, that Becky may well have been wiping Amber's bottom.
Come here. Yeah,
Such a fucking lie. Oh my god.
That is not.
Which handily ties into Peetz, I guess, to an extent when you think about it. Peetz is one of Foodie Beauty's best friends, and a former flame, that many believe still loves her to this day. He certainly did during the BB years and has been there for Foodie Beauty through thick and thin, having featured in mukbangs and live streams much like Becky, although with far more confidence, gusto, jokes and bants. Some believe that his life is a consequence and punishment for one of the biggest poor decisions he could have made, simply being associated with Foodie Beauty, aka Chantel, aka Big Beautiful Me. I think it's because he banged her personally. Maybe he was the guy that picked out the dingleberries.
I felt like a little bit of a pain, like a nagging pain down in my roll somewhere. And, I was like, what is that, So finally, I went to discover what it was. I went searching, and there was a Pringles cap stuck in my roll. Probably was there for like 12 hours.
How? No, there was not. You fucking lie. You're a fucking liar. That's fucking so vile. That's crazy. What the dude? You just like losing shit in like your crevices and shit, dude. You have to search for. You don't feel that. Your body just doesn't feel that there's a plastic hard shell thing in your fat fold. Like what the fuck? That's fucking crazy.
Another thing that was really embarrassing. Is that, I have a really big, large backside, big butt, and I cannot lie. I used to love that song on a side note. I was like, yes, he's defending big girls, but then it was like, I like big butts and I cannot lie. All you other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist, right there, that's when it's...
Yeah, he wasn't talking about morbidly obese chicks. He was talking about... Anyway,
so
I can't. Okay.
I have to be...
With TP?
TP tends to get stuck. And... I don't know.
She got dingleberries? She got dingleberries.
I don't know what it is. I told you this was TMI. I hope you're all laughing at me. I don't notice. Well, yeah, I think like one guy just tried to be really nice about it and not say anything and just kind of picked it out. And I felt him pick it up.
No! He's picking her dingleberries out?
I don't know. I do know he took a plunger to a toilet for her though. Over the years, when you look at the two individuals as people, there have been far more controversies that concern Becky than there have been with Peetz. Becky, for example, considering legal action over Facebook posts, which was quite amusing, I'll give you that. Becky because she's not the nicest to people in retail.
Get a salad.
Or the fact that to keep her around, all Amber had to do was buy her a new baseball cap.
Oh, literally, Becky did.
I have 2 kinds of Indian in me and some Spanish, but you can't tell because my European side thinks
Oh, wow, babe.
Speaks volumes, really. Does raise questions about whether or not Becky was a fan of Amber before they met, and if that's the case, then this perhaps is another one of those signs where you say content creators shouldn't date their fans. No matter how much the creator says they love you, chances are you'll never be as loved as Jasmine Rice. Whereas with Peetz, there's been very little controversy. In fact, even on his current YouTube channel, he is well received and liked. That's not to say Becky isn't on her channel also. We'll get to why that might be a little contradictory later. So next we're going to address the similarities of Peetz and Becky. This is some of the information I've left out of this segment because I felt it right to put it in one place so I can make this video longer. I know Omegon's a twat.
What does Chantel smell like? Usually like old cheese.
In the case of Becky, you'll notice that Amberlynn Reid had a type. That type was best demonstrated in Becky and her previous partner Destiny, and you can go back further if you like. The similarities are remarkable. Personality traits that were best demonstrated during the relationship and the videos that we saw of them together would include that Becky came across as very easy to control. Amberlynn Reid knew that all she had to do was buy her some random hat to keep her sweet. Many people pointing out that Amber's type was then essentially a tomboy that lacked a spine for most of the time, camera shy in the early years, developing confidence later on. Certainly with the breakup, Destiny went on to do her own thing with YouTube, and the same applies with Becky. This can all then handily be applied to Peetz, but with one major exception. I'm not so sure how he's Foodie Beauty's type, considering who she has dated after him. Peetz can be described as somewhat simple when it comes to how he handled, let's say, Chantel's eccentricities, but it could just be the fact that he is very relaxed as an individual. She could buy him things to keep him sweet, and it was food. He didn't care. It's food. His loyalty was essentially not necessarily bought. It was almost unconditional. But we can certainly get onto why that is later on in the video. Other minor details that many would have undoubtedly noticed when it comes to Peetz and Becky that are similar is the fact that both have put on weight over the years, lost weight, put on weight, lost weight. I'd like to believe a lot of it depends on how long they spend with their respective friend and or partner. In the case of Peetz, the less time he spends with her, the better it is for him to keep his weight down. But then he is very much dependent on Chantel these days. It's unlikely. And with Becky, she did go through a lot of weight loss, but then regained a bit of it, I guess, to then lose it again, to gain it again. I lost track, okay? And while we're in this area, I'm going to quickly segue to differences. Future Meg here, there's one other similarity between Peetz and Becky that really ties them together nicely, and it is that both were associated with people, or are still associated with people, that love to control every aspect of their own lives, which means if they're a part of that person's lives, so ALR and FB, they are essentially the whipping person of that person, of one of those GORLZ. In the case of Amberlynn Reid, many thought that Becky was mooching off her. I had thought that before they were dating that Becky had a job and quit it to be full-time carer to ALR, but I could be wrong on that front. And of course, after years of being together, undoubtedly the concept of mooching, which many believe is the case, would have built up over time. So when the debacle of the Netflix account arose, yes, there was an argument there. My view, she should have gotten her own one. ALR should not be paying for it. In the case of Foodie Beauty, she almost micromanages everything, which is why people think that she has Peet's channel and Nader's.
Just let Becky answer this.
The main difference that was best demonstrated in all their content is that Peetz loved being in Foodie Beauty's videos. He even had a fantastic rapport with her, and even got to explore his own creative side on her channel. Becky wiped Amberlynn Reid's bottom and got her food when she was bedbound. Peetz used a plunger on a toilet, and he didn't care in the slightest if he was recorded. For the second time, Future Meg. Hi. One other key difference between Becky and Peetz. Peetz will tell Chantel in the middle of her video, which she won't edit out, which will then in turn be shared as a vaunted clip. He will tell her when she's screwed up. He will tell her when she's wrong. He will outright say it. Now granted, I'm sure there's a consequence. She might withhold, I don't know, super chats. Who knows? It's a mystery. With Becky, she'd make some sly digs, but usually it only came at other people's expenses and only showed any honesty when it came to their relationship once they had broken up. Once the thread had officially been burnt out, severed, to the point she no longer wanted to be with her, but still loved her, as long as she paid for everything. ALR, that is. So with that out of the way, I want to now cover notable moments and their recent activity.
And I don't want to admit this, but things got so bad that there was a moment where we almost broke up.
Many months later.
All right, so do you want to tell them?
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. We have broke up.
Well, I guess that was the more notable of the moments Becky and Amberlynn Reid shared. And it's interesting because the context for the first clip that led to the actual breakup is Becky was ill. She tried and wanted to break up with Amberlynn because she wouldn't help, but Amberlynn wouldn't let her because, and I quote, she had chores to do. Maybe I should have just re-recorded the entire thing, so future Meg didn't have to make a third appearance. So the second notable moment for Becky would be the fact that when she had lost somebody in her life, someone close to her family, Amberlynn Reid was such a good support network. She was there for her. She was supportive, kind, warm-hearted. By doing an AMA online, she was so welcome within the family. No doubt, because of these actions and Amberlynn Reid's actions online, along with the family seeing this, they themselves may well have slowly started encouraging Becky to perhaps distance herself from this. Because honestly, why would you want to be with that? The only other real notable moments when it comes to Becky while she was with Amberlynn Reid would be the fact that she is, arguably, one of the greatest enablers. She would buy Amber whatever Amber wanted. It's why she went out all the time to get all that food. She would rarely put her foot down when it came to anything Amber did that she did not like. And the reason why is because Amber is the breadwinner. She at one point bragged making over 10 grand a month on YouTube. I doubt she's making that these days. But she was making a lot of money, and Becky was effectively her live-in carer, hence the wiping bottom reference. I'm sure there were other things she did, in a rather large pool, with a loofah, on a stick, but those are for your imagination. In reality, when it comes to Pete, there are no real notable moments. He would just feature in content, and that was it. Very little drama when it came to whatever he did that helped Foodie Beauty. So recently, what have they been doing? Both have kinda cashed in on their fame. Peetz has his own channel, and he is very well received. I've watched a few of his live streams. They seem to invariably end the same way, with Chantel calling him with some kind of drama, so he ends his stream. He is quite well respected, because he has a smaller community and he doesn't seem to take it for granted. Becky came to this a bit later. She has started a channel, Kinda Good, Kinda Beck. She is very present on social media except for Discord. Somebody else was running a server and there was a whole drama about that because she sent 3 messages on that server and they were not anywhere accessible unless you were a mod or a trainee mod. She is very active on Instagram, but she has been more recently involved in a drama, a rather interesting turn of events that does show a rather ugly side to Becky that I do hope she never repeats, because she does have support. Even if she, like Peetz, is guilty of enabling her feeder, people do genuinely want these two people to succeed. So with Becky, the incident came about because of a GoFundMe for $2,000. The intention was to raise money because car problems. She got more than what she actually set the goal for, and then she spent some of it on bills, which rubbed people up the wrong way. She handled it incredibly poorly, before finally bothering to address the issues itself. By the way, if you can't find a car for $2,000, chances are you're not thinking with a wide enough scope of where you can get a car. Either that or you needed to move the goalposts a bit higher in the first place. Why set an arbitrary number if you're ill-prepared to find what you're looking for that budget? To a lot of people, I might have skimmed over a lot of details and really important tea, but in reality, there was arrogance and entitlement from Becky. She handled the situation poorly and showed off the arrogance, and it really rubbed people up the wrong way. I do hope she learns from this, and I hope she succeeds going forward. Peetz might well be getting kicked out. He still lives with Foodie Beauty, or at time of recording does. He may well not be soon. But I do hope his channel continues to go forward and he stops being used by Foodie Beauty, because I do think he can also succeed on his own, because he seems to be quite interesting. Both are really. Becky, for example, no doubt because of the years with Amber and featuring in videos she didn't want to be in, has developed a level of confidence in her content, and it has served her well, because now with her own content she seems a lot more comfortable. Time will tell with both of them if they can manage to continue succeeding going forward, and this video, if anything, is just an opportunity to introduce you to people that were once heavily attached to or may still be attached to those that I've done videos on that are the most viewed on this channel. So if they do screw up at some point in the future, expect more videos on them. Anyway, with Peetz and with Becky, I'd like to know what you think. I know I've glossed over a lot, but I wanted to simplify this because I didn't want this to become a video of 10,000 receipts or clips from every single place known to exist, because no one has enough time for that. No one ever has enough time for that. Please do let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I hope you'll have a great day, and thank you all very much for listening.